Welcome to the Bridal Banter Podcast, brought to you by Old Spice.
We want to keep it light here.
Who do we want to be sponsored by? Who's going to be our first sponsor?
I don't know. You've been manifesting everything, so you just need to
I'm trying to think of a good sponsor. What do we want, guys? Who do we want to sponsor?
Canon.
Oh, Canon.
Please.
Canon.
Everything.
Everything.
Hello,
Canon
Canon.
cameras.
Yes.
We are using 5 of your cameras today.
I feel so disconnected from a manual.
We-
I
I
have
know.
to look this way.
Look, I gotta.
We're gonna go,
Listen,
that's what
Look
I'll
at the
do.
reflection.
I'll go that
I was
way.
trying to look through this. I was like, I can see
think
through the
it's-
window.
Listen,
I think it
hey,
should be this
did
way.
did you see the Canon R5 Mark II though? No record limit. It goes up
Nothing.
to like 6
All
hours
the
now.
way.
Canon.
Where was that like 10 years ago?
We needed it.
If you
And
haven't heard us,
I think
Canon.
we're on the way to get one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
First
selling
sponsor.
this Mark 1 and
No,
do a
you don't
little
need
upgrade.
to. Canon. Hello. Nice to meet
She
you.
said you don't need to.
Yeah,
It's coming.
hello, sponsor, please.
We need some podcast cameras.
Yeah.
We already own 5 of yours. We've put in the time. It's
And
time
the
for
work
you
for 'em.
to put into us.
Yes.
And maybe aperture lighting too, because
Maybe.
we're working on a
Yeah.
budget with the lighting department
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and call them out loud.
Yeah. There we go. That's first sponsor, Canon.
I'm good with that. Then we
All
could
right.
go to Shure, maybe.
Yeah,
SHURE.
sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to be some of the best. Every podcast I listen to, that's the microphone they all
Oh,
use.
the microphone. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I would say, sure,
Sure.
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 I'll have a tattoo.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out the manual.
I know I can't see you, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something.
I know we're like at one. We're having one podcast and he's having another.
I feel like I'm like
Sorry.
trying out for something right now.
So,
We're like, so.
tell us about your resume.
Time that I faced conflict and overcame it. I crapped my pants at work one time. All right.
Well, welcome to the first episode of the Bridal Banter Podcast. We are here. It's official. It's happening.
We made it.
And
Yeah,
we are
we're here.
so excited.
Freaking
Yeah.
pumped.
Yeah, a long time we've been talking about it. Excited
Yes.
to see everybody together.
see
Finally piecing the pieces together to make the podcast.
Yeah, and it was
Exciting.
a lot of pieces. There is stuff everywhere that you cannot see, but it is a mess in here.
Cords everywhere.
Feels very official.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
I like it. So I think we're going to take this first little episode and make it nice and quick and clean and kind of introduce ourselves and what the podcast is going to be about. So I can go first. My name's Andrew. Myself and my wife, Angie, over here have been in the wedding industry for, I believe this is our 5th or 6th year. We began with a photo booth company called Roll with Juniper. It's a photo booth bus that we built in the back of 1978 Volkswagen buses. We do events for weddings, corporate events, birthday parties, things like that. And that kind of led us down the path that we eventually opened up a bridal shop right here in Sonoy. And I'll let my wife, Angie, kind of talk about that.
Yeah, so we just opened Sonoy Bridal on August 1st. It's been really fun. So we fell in love, like Andrew said, with the wedding industry when we started Roll with Juniper. And whenever people ask, like, why do you love the wedding industry? I always say, well, we're in the business of making people smile. And that's the best business to be in because nothing makes a day better than someone smiling at you. So anytime somebody walks up to the bus, you get a smile on their face. And now the goal is anytime somebody walks into the bridal shop, they leave come in with a smile and leave even happier. Sonoy Bridal is all about creating an experience for the bride and making sure she feels just as special on that day as she did the day she got engaged and is going to feel even more special on her wedding day, but making it all about the bride and bringing that experience to Sonoy.
Yeah.
Amazing. And my name is Trevor McDonald. I am a videographer, wedding videographer. My business is Real Time Films, and I started 8 years ago now. So I've been in the industry for quite some time. I've seen it all. I love this industry. I feel like I'm just getting started, actually. I've barely scratched the surface on what I want to do and where I want to go. And this podcast is just another step forward for me in the creative world. And I'm really excited to continue this journey. But, you know, like Andrew and Angie said, we're in the business of making people smile. And one of the best things for us is seeing the reactions when we deliver videos and just the tears and the text messages. It's unbelievable. It's one of the best feelings in the world, and that's why we do it. So,
Yeah. I'm Emmanuel Brooks. I am photography by Emmanuel. Born and raised here in Newnan. I'm a lifestyle and wedding photographer. Been in the industry roughly 5-6 years. Started off doing lifestyle shots, just family portraits, branding, and then slowly got into the wedding industry. Started off second shooting for a bunch of friends who were already in the industry and just fell in love with weddings, like big, small, elopements, intimate weddings, like just being around people. Biggest thing, just like you said, being around, meeting new people, being able to capture love, and just, being in the space. Like, you don't realize until you're in the wedding industry, especially like a creative, like seeing people's reactions. But you're also a part of those big moments. Like, when you're in a bridal suite with, just the mom and the bride, and like those moments, like
So
it's just, it first look with dad. Like, it's just so many moments that you don't really experience or see when you're in other parts of the industry. And so, like, being able to see, like, I can't tell you how many times I've cried during those moments and forget I'm there to take pictures. So yeah, it's just it's a fun industry. I love weddings. I love meeting people in the wedding industry, and that's ultimately led us here together with each other. So
I think we kind of brought this podcast together to kind of give both sides, for the vendor side and for the bride and the groom side, of what to expect going into weddings. Hopefully it'll make it a little bit easier. It sounds like between the four of us, we got 20 plus years in the industry. So hopefully some of either the mistakes that we've made or the good things that we've done can save people some trouble moving in the future that are listening to us. And they can learn from us. And whether you're a bride that, just got engaged, you're close to your wedding date, you're a vendor that's got 20 years experience, or you're a vendor that's just getting into it. I think this podcast is kind of going to be focused on sharing our experiences in the industry and trying to make that easier, depending whether you're a bride or a vendor.
And giving other vendors a voice too. So we're really excited about bringing vendors on. Our goal is to create a bridal community or a wedding community in Sonoy. And we've already created an incredible community. We have so many people that we're excited about coming onto the podcast. We've been giving them little tidbits and telling them that they're invited, they have to be here, but really giving vendors voices, and then also seeing it from the perspective of the bride and the groom. Like, we're so excited to have a bride who's newly engaged, and then talk to her again during the planning process, talk to her after the wedding. Like, we're so excited to just talk all things weddings, whether it comes to vendors, brides. Maybe we need a mother of the bride. That could be fun. I mean, the options are endless, and we're just so excited to talk to and create a community around weddings in Sonoy. We need it here.
And Sonoy is such a special place. For those of you that don't know or haven't visited Sonoy or don't even know where it is on a map, look it up, because it is one of the most beautiful little towns. It's really, really special, and the possibilities are endless here. We're shooting in their bridal shop right now, and right next door is an amazing venue called the Veranda Inn, and it's smack dab in the middle of the city. It's gorgeous.
And while we're talking about the beginning of the podcast, I have to give a huge shout out to Trevor, because Trevor was the one that reached out to us. I don't know. I guess that's probably been 6 months ago now.
The podcast.
It was the day that you announced. I sent him a message on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, I finally have people. Like, I've been here for 3 years now, and it's been so hard to find good people that want to help each other grow. And I sent them that DM, and you guys responded immediately. And I think like that week we got coffee and we started talking business. So
so huge shout out to Trevor for not necessarily having this idea, but the idea of like, we need to bring the wedding industry up. And this little town is just so perfect for it. Like you said, Emmanuel, you've already been a part of this town with the shop that you work at, Greenhouse Mercantile. So you could probably tell them a little bit more.
No, I mean, this is home for me. Like, my great grandparents live 3 blocks from here. So before Sonoy was like, big with the film industry and stuff like that, we literally used to have Sunday dinner down here, ride bikes on the street. So like, it's amazing to see it where it is today. Like, even 20 something years later, like, it's changed, but it's still, I can still see it as like the town that I grew up in, but like, it's still alive, but
hasn't lost its character yet.
No, not at all. It hasn't. I mean, to me, it's gained more character.
Right.
Like, it's not just, it's so easy for, like, we see towns all over the place to just become like, dead towns with nothing in them. But like, for here, it's kept its charm, but it's also gained so much of that. And like you have so many people here from all over the place now, like all over the world, all over the country. And so it's good to be able to see that, and also just bring another level to it, like with adding, you know, the bridal industry here, you know, and making this a place for creatives too. Like, you know, like it's so many creatives around, like on this side of Atlanta, you know, and it's just like Trevor said, we're just all around each other. We just don't know. And there's no place to connect, you know, it's just, you know, so this is like, you know, it's a place that you can connect and meet people and like be able to, you know, throw ideas off each other and like, you know, vent sometimes to each other, you know.
Yeah,
sometimes you have to.
That's one thing. That's one thing I noticed when I first moved here was it's not necessarily in Atlanta, but you have to go there to find, you know, kind of meet other creatives. There was nothing like what we're doing in this small town. And there's a bunch of photographers around here. Yeah. There's a bunch of creative people around here, but you know, there's no studios, there's no, you know, nothing like that around Sonoy because it's such a small town. So everyone travels up to Atlanta and, you know, to do those meetups and stuff. So to have something like this here where we can bring people into our small town and have them be a part of this is huge. Yeah. I think this is a really great thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think this is the beginning of, you know, the future, the next 10 years moving forward with Sonoy, especially in the wedding industry.
Oh,
yeah. If you look at the last 10 years of this little town and asking anyone around here, the growth it's taken in 10 years is insane. Yep. And I think with all of us getting together, and we've got some other great vendors that we've already done expos with and photo shoots with. Yeah. I think all of us collaborating together and trying to build momentum down here. Sky's the limit as far as Sonoy and the wedding industry goes. And then beyond, like you said, studios, entertainment. I mean, Walking Dead, for those for those who don't know, Walking Dead is kind of what brought life back to this town. Yeah. And now it's just created this huge platform of potential for people to come in here and just take that momentum and keep moving now that they've kind of phased out a little bit.
Yeah, that's why I'm really excited about this, because, you know, you have the big movies and TV shows that are filmed here, and, you know, you kind of have to have an in with some of those studios to be in that creative process, but there was nothing really for small creators. There was nothing for photographers, right, to come in and do stuff like this and, you know, be creative together. It was, you know, Atlanta, from what I understand, the studios up there are quite expensive to rent out. So to have a space like this is just like, you know, it's perfect. Yeah. It's what we needed here.
Yep. Yeah. So I think moving forward, that's what this whole podcast will be about, is trying to kind of have the industry built up, the wedding industry built up, vendors and brides alike.
Yep. Create a community for all of the wedding industry, no matter what walk of life you're in or where you're at in your wedding career. If you want to just jump in and get started, there's enough business for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I think the four of us sitting here stand behind that and are more than happy to help guide people in the right direction, keep them from making mistakes that we've made, or learn from them, most importantly. Like, we want to learn from all of the experts in the industry just as much as we want to give back. So listen to the podcast, and you're going to learn a lot about weddings from...
A whole lot.
Day 1 to
the good,
day
the bad, the ugly,
all
and
of
the spectacular.
Yes.
Hopefully mostly spectacular.
So make sure you guys listen. Of course, we are going to be on YouTube. We're going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcast. And then, of course, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all of the things. We are Bridal Banter Pod on everything across the board. And become part of the Bridal Banter Pod Squad. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of the Pod Squad? Yeah, and that's another good point, too. If you would like to be a guest on the podcast, send us a DM. We are going to be quick to respond to those, and we look forward to having you.